Over the past decade or so, applications have moved to a subscription model of pricing versus the pay once for a major version and then an upgrade every couple of years. Being a software developer myself, I understand the appeal of this. It provides a steady source of income to the developer. However, being a consumer, I am wary of all these extra monthly fees that I have to pay. They really add up over time. Being a longtime Mac user, as well as someone who cares about personal finance and productivity, I'm going to share with you the top 8 applications that I think are worth paying an annual subscription for. Hey there, I'm Kelly. I'm a father of 6, full-time software developer, and Dean of Digital Campus at Sigma University. On this channel, I like to provide tips and tricks to help you stay more productive to get more done in less time. And as I already mentioned, today I'm talking about the 8 applications that are worth spending a little bit of money on to help you get more done. Now, these are in no particular order, so let's just start at the top with 1Password. As its name may suggest, 1Password is a password manager. You just have to remember one master password and it can store all of your other passwords. But it doesn't just stop there. You can store any sensitive information there, whether it's social security numbers or passport scans and whatnot. If it's something sensitive that you want to keep secure and all in one location, 1Password is the place to do it. Now, I pay $59.88 per year for 1Password families, which allows me to have up to, I believe, 6 family members all using 1Password. You can get it cheaper if you only care about a single user license. Now, that's a decent amount of money, but it makes my life so much easier. Out of everything on my list, it is the one application that I use multiple times every single day. Anytime I want to log into a website or add an application code or just look up a social security number for some form that I'm filling out, it's in 1Password. You can just search and find that information all within the main application itself, but 1Password does provide a number of browser plugins for all the major browsers, as well as integration with macOS and iOS's natural password features to allow you to quickly use Face ID or Touch ID to log into any website. It is the very first application that I install on any new iPhone or any new Mac because it makes logging into and setting up all the other services I need so much easier. Given the amount that I use it, the $60 per year for its service makes it a no-brainer. Now, over the past couple of years, Apple has been increasing the features of its own built-in password manager, and there may be a time in the future where I switch to that. But as of right now, it doesn't quite provide all the features that I use within 1Password, and so I'm sticking with the old standby. Next up is the subscription which actually led to this video idea, and that is Fantastical, which is a calendar client that I pay $39.99 per year for. It's important to mention that Fantastical is a calendar client. It doesn't provide a back-end service. You still need to use a calendar provider like Google Calendar or Apple's iCloud. Given that, why am I paying $40 a year for a calendar application instead of just using the Google Calendar web interface or calendar application built into macOS and iOS? Very simple. I'm paying that price for one feature and one feature alone, though there are a bunch of other features worth paying for that I use on a daily basis. And that feature is calendar sets. I'm a fairly heavy calendar user, and there are 5 or so calendar services that I have to be signed into to keep tabs on different calendars. Those are for RescueTime, for Signum, personal stuff, and a bunch of others. What Fantastical allows me to do is after logging into all those services and pulling in the dozen or so different calendars that I have in each of them, I can create what are called calendar sets. Calendar sets allow me to group different calendars together or different items in calendars and be able to quickly iterate between them so I can see only what I need at a moment's notice. So I have a calendar set up for RescueTime, I have one set for Signum, I have one set up for work, I have one set for my YouTube schedule. I can quickly switch between them and see only the things that I really need to see at any given moment without being bombarded and overwhelmed with a bunch of other information. Say you're a college student, you could create a different calendar set for each one of your classes. And then you could say, open up your Chem 101 calendar set and only see the assignments and due dates and relevant information for Chem 101. Or you could have another one for your entire fall semester and see all of your school-related information in one place, completely separate from a separate personal or work calendar set. It is great, you should really check it out. I think at $40 a year, it is well worth it, if you're a heavy calendar user. Next up is Backblaze, which in my personal opinion is the best online backup solution for macOS. We all know that backup is important. It's really important, and you should be doing it on a regular basis. But instead of just doing that locally, it's really handy to have an online backup somewhere off-site, not stored in your house in case something catastrophic happens. Or say you're on the go, as I was a couple weeks ago in Florida, and I need to access something that I had stored on a hard drive back home. I just connected to the Backblaze service online and I was able to download the particular file that I needed for one of these videos. Backblaze really is a set it and forget it service that provides an extreme amount of peace of mind. You can just install the application, it runs up there in the menu bar, always backing up your most important information. It does come at a financial cost of $70 per year per computer, which I think is well worth it in the grand scheme of things, and that is for unlimited data backup. I also pay an additional $24 per year that gives me an extended year of version history. So say I have a file that I changed 6 months ago that I realized I really need that prior version of, I can log into backblaze.com and download that version from 6 months ago. Without that, you only get about a month's worth of version history. As far as what you can back up, well, you can back up pretty much anything in unlimited amounts for that price. The fourth application, or really web service on this list, is You Need a Budget, or YNAB. YNAB recently increased their prices to $98.99 per year, but I am still subscribing to it because it is the best budgeting application that I have found. It uses the envelope budgeting system where every dollar has a place and needs to be put into a specific purpose up front. It isn't perfect by a long shot. It is a web application, and so there is no native macOS application, and the iOS app is kind of a joke in my opinion. But it is the best I found, and it helps me stay on track with our personal finances as well as really reaching for those goals that we have. There are some nitpicks and quibbles I have, largely not being a native application being the first and foremost of them, but I still recommend it as a service. Next up is a very simple application called Parcel, which only costs $2.99 per year. Now you may be asking, what on earth are you paying only $2.99 for? It's very simple. It's a delivery tracking tool. As you may have picked up from this channel, I tend to buy probably more things than I should, and then also sell a whole bunch. This means I have a lot of delivery tracking numbers that I have to keep track of at any given time, and Parcel allows me to keep them all in one location and send me notifications when something is out for delivery. A cool feature it has is automatically logging into my Amazon account and pulling tracking information as soon as it becomes available, which makes that part of this equation much easier, because unfortunately, most of my packages do come from Amazon nowadays. Number 6 on the list is Timery, which is a third-party application for the Toggle time tracking service. Toggle does provide their own Mac and iOS applications, but I have used them in the past and they are incredibly buggy. For only $9.99 per year, the Timery application provides a front-end application that actually works and integrates fully with all of Apple's latest integration, such as SiriKit and shortcuts and all that funness. I use the Timery application on a daily basis for everything that I want to manually time track, whether that's work at RescueTime, work at Signum, or my violin practice, or also these YouTube videos. If you're interested in how long I spent making YouTube videos in 2021, you can check that out in this video linked up here, or you can do the same thing if you're interested in seeing how long I spent working on my master's thesis, also found up here. If that's something that sounds really interesting to you, be sure to subscribe to this channel because I will be doing a similar video at the beginning of 2023, breaking down how long I spent on this YouTube channel in 2022 with my Timery data. Speaking of time management, RescueTime of course makes this list. Full disclaimer, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I am an employee of RescueTime, but I do think it's worth it. Otherwise I wouldn't be working at the company. Now, because I work there, I get the application and service for free, but you can subscribe for only $78 per year. People like to think of RescueTime as an automatic time tracker, but that's really not what it's about. It's about taking back control of your time and helping you achieve the goals that you have set out for yourself when it comes to digital work. RescueTime is a menu bar application that you install and a lot of time is out of sight and out of mind, keeping track of what you're doing on a daily basis. It allows you to break down applications and tasks into productive work, other work, or personal time. It will then send you gentle nudges throughout the day to help you stay more productive based on your own personal schedule to accomplish a focused work goal for that day. It is a great application service and one that I used well before working for the company. And the final application on the list is also the most expensive by far. Coming in at $165 per year is the application, more web service, Roam Research. Now, I won't get into Roam Research in depth now, as I've talked about how I use it in prior videos. But let's suffice it to say that at its heart, Roam Research is a note-taking application. But if you're thinking something like Apple Notes, No, you've got the wrong idea. Roam Research is a note-taking application on absolute and insane levels of steroids. And maybe psychedelics as well. It's much closer to a wiki or an older Mac application called VoodooPad that I used to use back in the day. While Roam Research may be expensive, I use it every single day for almost everything. I have RescueTime meeting notes in there, I have developer documentation notes in there, I have Signum tasks in there, I have my entire GTD/August Bradley's PPV system all within Roam Research. That means all my projects, all my tasks, everything is within this one application. Now, every time I mention Roam Research, I get a bunch of people saying, I can't pay that much money per month, and I get you. There are free alternatives, such as Logsec or Obsidian, which people really love, some many more than Roam Research. There are features and use cases of Roam Research that are really core to my current system, and Obsidian or Logsec don't quite have them yet. But when they do, I probably, well, most definitely will be switching over. I mean, I love the idea of Obsidian having everything all in one location, but it's not quite there yet. And until that time comes, I am happy to pay that $165 per year. I'm so happy that I don't actually pay that $165 per year. Instead, I'm on the Roam Believers plan, which is $500 for a 5-year subscription. A long time ago, I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't subscribe to any digital service for greater than a 12-month period. Things changed just far too much in the tech space, and I got bit by that, and I didn't want to be bit again. Roam Research was an exception to that. It has been the only exception to that. I'm only a year into my Believers plan, and I've already gotten that $500 value. So that price of $100 per year is well worth it to me. $713.84 per year or $59.49 per month. That is what you could be paying for these 8 Mac applications and services. I won't lie, that is a bunch of money. But at the cost of eliminating a cable or satellite TV subscription, or frankly, one night out at dinner with the family, I think this price is well worth it for these 8 applications. What about you? Is there any Mac or iOS application or service that you pay for on a monthly or yearly basis? If so, please let me know down in the comments below. If you want to hear more about how I use these applications, check out this playlist up here or this particular video here. Till next time, bye.